everyone, Julie here from Biscott Yarns Northvale, New Jersey shop. Welcome. Since this is the first video we are shooting out of our Jersey shop, let me give you a little information about it. We are located in Northvale, New Jersey, which is in the northeastern part of the state in Bergen County, just a stone's throw away from the New York border. Our store is open from Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. with an extended hour on Thursdays, closing at 6 p.m. Like most other local yarn stores, we offer classes, and we have 3 teachers teaching out of this location, me being one of them. I do mostly knitting classes, although I do dabble a little bit with Tunisian crochet as well as regular crochet. To the opposite of me would be Clayton. He is the crochet expert, but if you happen to be scheduled in his class and you have some knitting questions, I am pretty confident that he will be able to help you out with those as well. Lastly, we have the lovely Laura. To my understanding, Laura is pretty well versed with both crafts, so if you are scheduled with Laura, you should be pretty all set. This happens to also be the first video making experience for me, so I'm a little bit nervous, to say the least. To give you an idea how anxious I was about today in making the video, last night I slept. Surprisingly, I was able to sleep, and I slept quite well, I think. But before I woke up, I had this dream where I burned down the store because I forgot, or I didn't know how to disarm the security system. So let's hope that I will not burn down the store today, or any day for that matter, and that this video will be okay, and that I will still have a job after all this is said and done. Now that we got the housekeeping things out of the way, let's talk about other things. How about the New Jersey Wool Walk that just happened last week? It started on Wednesday, April 26th, and it ended yesterday, April 30th, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, too bad I wasn't here for the entire time. I wasn't here like every day, but on the days that I was here, the store was hustling and bustling with like-minded knitters and crocheters, and I really had a good time, you know, talking with a lot of you. And I hope you're not too mad at me for taking up so much of your time chit-chatting and prevented you to do your shopping and also yarn shop hopping. And we also really appreciate you driving all the way to our little corner in Northeast New Jersey to pay us a visit, because I know quite a few of you had some distance to drive, but just know that we're so grateful and we were so happy that you made it to our store. One of the women that I spoke with during the yarn crawl or the wool walk, you know, she mentioned something pretty interesting. I mean, it was pretty obvious, but it was still interesting for us to have had that conversation. So some local yarn stores, they have their little specialties or niche, and you really wouldn't really know about them unless you have physically like visited the store, which is like one big plus about these events. Not only will you get to see the products, but you also get to immerse and get the full feel of the environment. But getting back to like the niches of each store, for example, like at Biscott Yarns, we have our house yarn, the Biscott yarns, and a variety of them. They're all hand dyed, and I think we're better known for our sock yarn, which are behind me and along the wall all the way down that way. So, you know, with sock yarn, we have a lot of different colorways, again, because we do our own hand dyes, you know, ranging from solid to gradient to like speckles here and there, variegated, self-striping, you know, you name it, we got it. So, you know, let's say that you were someone who hasn't heard of us and have never visited our store, and then, hey, here you were. And you would have been like, been so impressed by this wall of yarn sock yarn rather. And maybe the next, like maybe you would have like cataloged it in your head, like, oh, you know, next time if I want to do a sock project, I'm gonna stop by Biscot Yarn up north and see what I can pick out, because chances of me picking out something that I'm gonna, you know, like is pretty high because of all the varieties that they have. And of course, sock yarn is not just for knitting socks, you know, it's also good for knitting shawls, much like this little number I'm wearing. You must be dying to know what this shawl is all about. So this is called the Triptych Shawl, and it was designed by Louise Roberts. This piece is just so beautiful and so amazing. A little bit about the name of the shawl. Let me begin there. And then I'll go into other awesomeness of this shawl. So triptych is kind of like a word that means something that is created in three, like in three sections, as this shawl was constructed in three sections. So I'm gonna see if I can like explain this properly. So first you do one triangle, and then you do another triangle, and then you kind of like, hold on, let me use prop. Imagine these are like one side of the triangle this way, and then this is another side of the triangle. So you have one, you have two, and then the third piece, okay, this is sad. So the third piece, you construct by picking up the stitches on one edge and then the other, and then you just continue on knitting to create the tail, because at the end of the day, you kind of like flip it around the way it will wear, and the tail, like the pointy tail, will be here. I'm going to stand up and show you later because it's too much of a, you know what, maybe I can do it now. So here, this is the tail that I spoke of, right? Look at those colors and all the different patterns, stitch patterns. Love it. And just to give you a reference, I am 5'7", and typically a size medium, and this is how it drapes on me. Here, I'll stand up one more time. So this is how it drapes on me. Tippy toe. And I love the way she designed it, how everything is like kind of symmetrical. Like I'm not putting it on right, but like this is symmetrical, right? Like this. And then like these are all lined up. Like I just love it. I love symmetries. Okay, yarn. What the yarns that were used, there were 4 different colorways used to make this shawl, and I pulled 3 of the 4 because I couldn't find the 4th one, but then again I didn't really look that hard, but oops. These are the goodies. Here we have, what's the colorway of this? The Granite Rose. And that yarn was used to make this section here. And then we have Poivre. I think it's pronounced Poivre. If memory serves, I think that's a French word for pepper. I don't know, I'm like digging out my high school French here. If that's not what it means, I'm way off base. I'm very sorry. I don't pretend to know French. And then we have this beautiful jewel tone color. And this is the colorway Better Ave. It's beautiful. And then I don't even need to stand up and show you. You can just see how it pops out. And then there's a 4th color that I couldn't find. It's like that teal color kind of. And that was called, here, I have it on my computer. It's called the Epinette. I have no idea what that means, but it sounds pretty, and so is the color. So these are the 4 colors to make this shawl. But if you want to make your own color combination, of course you could, because the pattern could be sold as a standalone on our website, or if you really like the way this set looks, then we already have a kit available to you. There are 4 other colorways, I believe, to create this shawl, and they're all up on our website at biscotyarns.com. link below. The good thing about buying the kit is not only because you don't have to, you know, deal with color combination. Like for me, figuring out the color is like the hardest part of knitting, honestly. But, you know, if you like colors and you like putting them together, so maybe that would be fun for you. But surely for me, like I would rather just, you know, buy a kit ready-made. Anyway, so if you were to buy a kit, then the pattern will come free. So that's like a little gift, I guess, you know, a little perk for purchasing it as a kit. So in looking at this shawl, I mean, you can see how complicated it looks, right? With the construction that I briefly explained earlier, and also with all these little, different stitch pattern. By the way, I did not knit this piece. This is a store sample. But I did do my homework. I went over the pattern before the filming of this episode, and I was very impressed by how organized the pattern was laid out. It's basically, you know, laid out by section, and each section is like a color and or a different stitch pattern. And depending on where your knitting journey is, if you come across a stitch that, you know, you're not familiar with, or a technique that you haven't done before, in the pattern there are also a section where they thoroughly explain on how those stitches and techniques are done. Not only that, if you are more of a visual learner, learn better by videos, there are also video links and references in making those stitches and techniques. In addition to yarn, we also carry other products such as pottery. We are working with an artist from Hudson Valley, New York, not too far from here. Her name is Sarah Ann Bloom of Blooming Pottery. She has a few of her pieces at our store, and this is one example of it. It's a mug, and I love everything about this mug. The colors, the texture, and inside it looks like this. Like, you know, your pretty ceramic color like that. You can see the texture, but I can also feel it too. It's really neat. I really like it. Besides that, we also have a yarn bowl from her. We have several different sizes and colors. And a yarn bowl, for those of you who don't know, is a bowl with a hole that you thread the yarn through, and you would have your ball of yarn in here, and you don't have to worry about the yarn running in every which direction because it's safe and secure inside the bowl, and then you would just pull on the working yarn as your project progresses. So here is one yarn bowl that we have. We do have other sizes and other colors, like I said. I think this pattern is kind of like lotus flower, right? And I really like the color too. It's very calming. And we have one more thing from her, one more category, if you will. Christmas ornaments. It's not really Christmas ornament season, but I don't care, it's still cute. We have several of her sweaters, like in different sweater designs in the store. Now all this, they're not going to stay here forever. I think they are going to go home to her sometime this month, May 2023. I don't know the exact schedule, but if you think that they are pretty, and you want to get your hands on one of these, I would hop on over to our Northvale shawl and pick one up for yourself, or maybe, you know, 'tis the season, Mother's Day. I bet these will also make really good Mother's Day present for the moms in your life. I, for one, would love to get one. Maybe I should buy one for myself. I don't know. Here's something else I wanted to show you today. They are a series of crochet booklets published by Rico Design. They are amigurumis, but they call it the rikurumis. And here is one example of it. They're friends, these animal friends. I can totally see, you know, someone with the patience and the recipient to knit like the whole set of these animal friends. I think there are more animal friends, but they may not necessarily be in this booklet, but in other booklets. But anyway, like, can you imagine knitting a whole set of these friends? And then the child would be able to play with all her friends or all his friends. And the best part of it, not only because it's made with love from you, but also no plastic involved. So this is the friends. And then they have another one called Cute, Cuter, Kawaii. Like, that just kills me. Super cute. And then this is one of my favorite. Pocket friends. They are smaller in size. Check this. So here is a reference. So here's somebody's hands, and then the little pocket pal is resting on top of her palm. So I think these would actually make really good stocking stuffers when the time comes, or because I see them be used as a charm, like a keychain. So imagine like you knit up one of these things and then you go by like the circle part of the keychain. I don't know what you call it, but you know what I'm talking about. And then like you attach it, you know, to the body part, and then you can clip it on, you know, backpacks or school bags or your purse or whatever. And that would be really, really cool. And last but not least, again, like they make a whole bunch of these things. I just grabbed four, the four that I wanted to talk about. So these ones, heartbreakers. I mean, look at it. So these bunnies, so cute. They're adorable. And I think every crafter out there in the year 2003 should be making a bunny, whether it's these guys or any other guys, because it's the year of the rabbit for those who celebrate Lunar New Year, like I do. In celebration of the Lunar New Year this year, I designed a scarf, a Happy New Year scarf. That's what I named it. See? It was sized for a child. If memory serves, the width is 4 inches wide and the length is about 40 inches long. But of course, you know, those specs, you can modify it to your specifications. It's not hard. The scarf in and of itself is super simple. It's perfect for a first project because it's just all done in garter stitch. But in addition to that, to add a little bit of fun to it, I added a pocket piece. So the pocket was knitted separately with two colors, the base color and the contrasting. So it's like color strand work. That's how the bunny was created. And then the bunny butt is basically a pom-pom that's added to it. And then the two bunny ears were also made separately and then later tagged on. The reason why I added the pocket to this scarf was because, like I said, I made this, I designed this with Lunar New Year in mind. And in the Chinese tradition, the children would typically get these red envelopes, and they're stuffed with lucky money during the new year when they go visit the elders. So, you know, if one was to wear it for what we call bailin, visiting people to have the New Year greeting, they will be handed the red pocket or the red envelope, and then they can just stow it in their little pocket for safekeeping. But of course, it's not just for, you know, Chinese kids. They also make a really good, you know, spring accessory for any kids, or maybe like for Easter. I mean, Easter bunny, right? And also the color just screams spring. And, you know, instead of money, or maybe it could be money too, gold coins, right? Leprechaun running around dropping gold coins. Maybe the little one would be, you know, finding, you know, other hidden treasures. More realistically, maybe like, you know, a special pebble or acorn or whatever they find when they are out and about. So what yarn did I use to make this cute creation? I, of course, use Biscotte yarns. And this time I used Griffin. Here it is. This green is called, I can't read it, Faraday? I don't know. Somebody is gonna link it down below for you. And it was paired with a light color, a white one for the bunny. And I also made a sample using this pink one, and this one is called Bonbon. That one I know for sure is candy in French, bonbon, because, you know, cute. You can make this scarf in any color that you like, even the bunny. I was actually thinking about doing one in a calmer color as the scarf, and then have the pink. They also have a more pale pink, not as loud as that one, although that one is like really, really fun. But imagine this could be like a pink bunny and with a white tail, and I don't know what color this could be. I mean, whatever you want, and I think that will work out really well too. Okay, friends, I think this pretty much concludes our first episode. If you are still with me, thank you for staying on. You know, for all the projects that I've mentioned in this video, like the triptych shawl or my bunny scarf, if you decide to make it, maybe you have a Ravelry account, would you make a project page of these projects and show us your progress along the way? Or if you're an Instagram user, we would love to see your pictures as well. You know, your work in progress as well as your finished objects. Just don't forget to tag us, Biscotte Yarns, and my Instagram account is Yellow Cayenne, so you could hashtag me as well. And I hope this video is not too disappointing, and I hope you did like what you see. If I did something that you like, said something that made sense, or something to the contrary, you're like, girl, please don't ever say or do that again. Either way, please leave me a message down below, and hopefully I can take your feedback and produce even better content for you the next time around. If you do, please hit the subscribe button up below, and then you will be notified when the next one is up. Thank you so much, and until next time, happy crafting.